Okay, is it working now? Is it working now? It says I'm on. It says I'm live on StreamYard. But it, oh, because now it's a different video. Oh, yeah, I'm live. Okay, bye. Oh, all right. It's a new video. Oh, there's some people there. No, I see Joey Brooklyn. Oh, hi, everyone. I'm talking to Ron on the phone. He's trying to walk me through this. We had some technical difficulties. Thank you. Okay. Oh, I see Joey Brooklyn. I see Thunderhorn. Okay. All right. Bye. Thanks, Ron. All right. Bye. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for coming to my first live because I didn't know what I was doing and I had to like set things up on StreamYard and then I had to set things up on YouTube and it's a whole thing. Oh, Joey Brooklyn, thank you. And I had to actually, Ron called me like right before this started and he said, let me be your moderator. You need a moderator to get the bullies out of the chat. So thank you so much for showing up. There's a learning curve to this, what I've learned. So I am Melanie Little and I am a recovering lawyer. I've been practicing law for over 25 years in New York, and I am also a legal analyst, and I do legal analysis for Duty Ron, who's one of my best supporters, and he's teaching me how to do this. So thank you, Ron, if you're out there. I don't know, maybe I have to make him a moderator again when he comes on. We'll see. And I'm also a mother of 5, and I'm also an actor. And today is a rough day and a rough week for not only Kevin Costner, but for all the actors in the business because SAG-AFTRA has just announced a strike. So the strike has started today, and the Writers Guild is also on strike, which is going to be a problem for Kevin and his future income. And he was also snubbed at the Emmys. So Yellowstone was not nominated. And he was not nominated for Yellowstone. So it's kind of a bummer. So if anybody has been paying attention, and now we have a new link, so we're just going to wait a couple of minutes. I wanted to do something different on my own channel because with Ron and Bill on Police Off the Cuff, we cover all the really sad true crime stuff, and it's a lot. So when I decided I was just going to make a couple of videos of my own, I thought I would take on something a little bit lighter, but also something that people might be interested in. So the Kevin Costner divorce is what I landed on, and I decided, like he said, if you build it, they will come. So I thought it was just going to be me and my mom and Ron and one of my daughters who's actually in the chat right now. But I see that you guys are all here. Thank you so much. I love you so much. Can't do this without you. And also Ron sent me a super chat earlier, and that was really sweet of him because I don't even know how that works either, to be honest with you. So for those of you who were just catching up, Kevin Costner is sadly going through his second divorce. His first divorce cost him $84 million, and that was back in 1994. And I mean, since we're here, I'm just going to go and try and share my screen and see if we can, really get crazy with this thing. So I was watching, oh, there's another kid of mine. Hi, Max. Hi, Cass. I was watching a news channel do a little story on this Kevin Costner situation. And I thought this was kind of interesting. They put this graphic up when they were talking about expensive Hollywood divorces. So Mel Gibson apparently paid $425 million to his ex-wife in 2006. Harrison Ford paid $118 million in 2004. Steven Spielberg, $100 million in 1989. Oh, hi, Ron. You're back. Okay, wait. I can make you a moderator, I think. Again, right, there we go. Oh, it just says I can put you in timeout or ban you and delete your comments. I can do either one of those things. So maybe on my phone I can do it. All right, I am live. So what's missing from this picture? Can anybody tell me what's missing from this picture? Oh, yeah, the women. The women who had to pay out to the men in the Hollywood divorces. Isn't that funny? So why aren't they talking about that? Because there's a lot of women out there who make a lot of money who are trying to support families and then get stuck paying their bum ex-husband. For example, Adele paid about $140 million to get out of her marriage. We don't even know, because actually that file was sealed in California. This Kevin Costner file is not sealed yet. It may become sealed if somebody makes a motion and gets half a brain, because in California, it's like the Wild West of courts, and the family court documents are open to the public. You can't get them online, but you can go down to the court clerk and pay 50 cents a page or whatever, and they'll copy it for you, which, as we saw in the recent thing on that poor little boy Gannon, like that can be a dangerous thing when people go down to the courthouse with a check, or probably cash is the only thing they accept, and get records that are not, they should not be public. So let me just see, Ron, if I can get you on here as a moderator. Oh, wait, did Donna say she was a moderator? All right, cool. Whatever. How about nobody bully me, and then we won't have to worry about deleting chats. Cool. All right. So anyway, Adele paid $140 million allegedly to divorce her guy. Madonna paid Guy Ritchie something like between $75 and $92 million in 2008 when she got divorced. J-Lo paid Chris Judd $14 million for less than 1 year of marriage. I think she's had a couple of them. And of course, Kelly Clarkson is also getting the short end of the stick right now, if anybody's a fan of Kelly Clarkson. She pays that guy $115,000 a month in spousal support and something like $45,000 a month in child support. So just let that sink in for a minute. So in any event, Kevin Costner, let's see how we do this. Stop sharing. Oh, okay, good. So just a little background on what's going on here. Kevin Costner married this woman, Christine Baumgartner, in 2004. But before he married her, he made her sign a premarital agreement, which is also called a PMA. In New York, we call it a prenup or prenuptial agreement. And the reason that he had her sign this, she's a lot younger than he is. She's 49. He's, I think, 68 right now, but I still think he looks great. I mean, that's just my opinion. I saw some ladies in the chat saying they thought he looks great too. And he married his college sweetheart before he wanted to become an actor. And he was married to her for about 20 years. They met at Cal State Fullerton. They didn't have a prenup, obviously, because they just didn't have anything to protect at that time. But then he became an actor, you know, and he did Tin Cup and he did a bunch of stuff, and he was worth a lot of money. So when he divorced her in 1994, he was basically homeless. He had 3 kids with her. She wouldn't leave the house. He got kicked out of the house and he just had nowhere to go. So, oh, thank you, Police Off the Cuff, for your super sticker. Oh, Bill, thanks for watching. So I can see now, Bill, what you're always telling me, how it's like hard to do this, that it's confusing because you're trying to watch the chat. You're trying to keep your train of thought. Maybe if I had guests next time, I could, you know, it'd be easier, but who knows? So Cindy Silva was his wife. He was kicked out of his house. And when he decided that he was going to marry Christine, he told her, number one, I don't want to have any more kids. And number two, if we're going to get married, I want a prenuptial agreement that says that my homes are my homes. I own them already before we're going to get married. And if anything happens and either one of us files for divorce, you got to leave the house within 30 days. And this was signed in 2004. She had an attorney when she signed it, so she can't claim that she wasn't informed. And that was the deal. So in April 11th, Christine tells Kevin she wants a divorce. Yeah, for him, I think this was out of the blue. That's what it's been reported, that it was out of the blue. And May 1st, which is less than 2 weeks later, she files for divorce. May 6th is their oldest son's birthday. He's turning 16. So she files 5 days before this kid's birthday because Kevin is shooting his film in Utah. And she knows that he's going to be in California for the son's birthday, so she can serve him with the papers. people are saying, oh, that's just what people do. It's kind of gross. Would you agree with me that it's kind of gross? Let the kid have one more normal birthday, right? Before you break up his family. So, you know what happens? Like when the gravy train comes to a screeching halt, people get a little berserk. And she digs her heels in. She says, well, I'm not leaving the house. I'm not leaving. I know I signed this premarital agreement, but you know what? We have 3 kids now, and this is the only home they've ever known. And I'm going to show you a picture of this home because it is in a place called Carpinteria, California. And it is quite lovely. It is 500 acres of beachfront. She's got, they live in this main house right here in the middle. To the right here is another home that he uses as his editing studio, his home office. And then there's another little house over here to the left that they use as a gym, and just another outbuilding. They have an infinity pool. They have 2 other lots behind that they bought just for like front yard space. And she claims it's worth like $150 million. So that's the kind of life that these kids have been living. And her argument is, look, I don't care that I signed this thing. I'm not going to pay attention to it. I'm staying. Like she was basically kind of like a squatter, and I said that in one of my prior videos and people got a little annoyed, or a little angry about that. But, that's the way I see it. She knew she signed this thing. She's the one who filed for divorce. I don't know who did what to who, but I'm a lawyer. A contract is a contract, right? Like why even have a premarital agreement if it's not going to hold up? So also, oh, thank you. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ron. So she says she's not going to leave, and she goes into court and she files this ex parte order saying, trying to let the judge let her stay there, saying I can't possibly move out because Kevin has not been, we don't have a child support order in place. He's not giving me any money. He cut off my credit cards. Her Amex bill last year was $225,000. So I'd cut her credit card off too. He cut off one of her cards and the other one, he put a limit on it. Oh, because the other thing she did was in April, before she filed for divorce, she racked up $95,000 in charges to her attorney for their retainer and to a forensic accountant to dig into his finances and scrape together some sort of piece of paper that she could go into court and demand $248,000 a month in child support. $248,000 a month in child support. So we got to kind of see this for what it is, right? In California, child support ends at age 18. So they have 3 children, 16, 14, and 13. You cannot waive child support or set forth what your child support is going to be in a premarital agreement. That's against the rules. So what she did do in the premarital agreement was waive spousal support, which used to be called alimony. So she waived that in the premarital agreement. We think. We haven't been able to get a copy of that because that is really the only thing in the court file that has been preemptively sealed, and they're fighting to keep it sealed. And I really think it should stay sealed because, I don't think her kids should really know about any of this. But it's all been reported on, and I'm going from what I also read in the court documents that have been leaked, and they've been leaked by either her team or by media who went and got the file or somebody else who went and got the file from the courthouse. So her argument is that, listen, we live a very expensive lifestyle. These kids are used to certain things, and that's how much it's going to cost me monthly. Also, child support is tax-free. So $248,000 a month tax-free means that if you had a job, you would have to make $500,000 to net $250,000 in that tax bracket. So let that sink in as well. So she hires this forensic accountant. They submit this, long, lengthy 20-page report. Her attorney does a brief, and they're earning their money, $900 an hour. And she's trying to get the court to agree with her that she should be entitled to this money. Kevin comes out and says, listen, I don't know, she needs to like put the pipe down because this is not accurate. The numbers are not accurate. She says he's making $19 million a year. He's netting something like $1.9 million a month. And in her attorney's brief, she goes on, the attorney says, well, he can still pay this kind of money and still have millions left over for himself. Yeah, that's debatable. So in any event, on July 5th, there was a hearing on whether or not Christine had to move out of the house. She wanted to stay until August 31st. Kevin wanted her out on July 13th because he needs to move back into that house because he needs to get back to work. He is in the middle of filming a 4-part saga, a 4-part movie called Horizon. It's like a Western saga that takes place during the Civil War. It's about America during that time period. It's a period piece and it's 4 movies. The first movie is already done. It's in the can, as they say, and he needs to get to work editing it because he wants it to be ready for the Venice Film Festival, which is going to happen in August. She says, well, we can all live here. The house is big enough. We should all be able to live here because on the nights when he did come home, like for the kid's birthday, we didn't hurt each other. There was no abuse, which is kind of a weird thing to put in the court papers because there was never any allegation of abuse to begin with. There was never any prior history of abuse. There's never any restraining orders filed, but that's a nice soundbite for the media to pick up on, right? So luckily, the judge disagrees with her and says, no, an agreement is agreement. And this is what I said in one of my videos. What is in the 4 corners of the agreement is what should govern here. So if the agreement says 30, that's just what should govern. And the court agreed with that. But the judge said, I'm going to let her stay until July 31st because he made this ruling on July 5th. So it was a little less than 30 days from there. He started the clock running there. So she's got to get out of the house by then. It's important to note that the kids are not being kicked out of the house. They're getting 50-50 custody. So the kids are going to be with Kevin 50% of the time in that beautiful spread that I just showed you. And for the other 50%, they're going to be with Christine. She's arguing that she can't possibly afford to live around there. But in his original offer, he offered to give her $30,000 a month for a rental house. Now, I went on Zillow, and I don't have the listing up right now, but on my second video, there was a Zillow listing around the corner for $28,000 a month. So she would have saved $2,000 a month. And it's absolutely stunning. Like, anybody would live there. Just as big as their house, infinity pool, the hot tub, the water view. I mean, stunning. I understand this is a very expensive place to live in California. It's it's in Santa Barbara County. It's right near, I think it's in between like Malibu, and it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And in fact, remember the Santa Barbara floods that they had? In my second video, I had a video of Kevin getting his Golden Globe in the mail because he won the Golden Globe for Best Actor for Yellowstone. But they couldn't get to the Golden Globes because of this flooding. And he did a video when he got the Golden Globe in the mail, thanking his wife because she went down to the store with $30 and bought all these balloons, and they all sat together and watched the Golden Globes. That was only in February. So I don't know what happened by April that made her file, but I guess it's none of our business. But it doesn't seem like he wanted this. So the July 5th hearing happens. Judge says, you got to get out by July 31st. And now she says, but we got to decide what the child support is going to be. And they call that pendente lite child support, which is during the pendency of the action. They will set an amount that can be changed later, either upward or downward. Now, yes, near Montecito. That's right. That's right. Oh, how do I get that off? Oh, I don't know how to get that off. Oh, I do that. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, I'm getting the hang of this, you guys. Yay. Yes, it is near Montecito. A lot of stars do live there. You are correct. It's a beautiful, beautiful place from what I understand. So she says, nobody's going to rent to me. I can't rent a house because I don't have any proof of income. I don't have a job. I haven't had a job during the entire marriage. And that's another thing too. She's unemployed, but that doesn't mean she's unemployable. I mean, she's 49 years old. She was a handbag designer. She had a couple of failed businesses, but she claims she was raising I don't know. I think the kids were probably raised by nannies, but I don't know. She could actually go out and get a job. Maybe Real Housewives is hiring or casting. Maybe she could get a job there because reality TV is not actually covered under this SAG strike. So reality TV is still going to be happening. I don't know. It's just a thought. Now, Andy Cohen. I mean, maybe you could give the girl a break. So she says, I need the $248,000 a month in child support, and there needs to be an order in place before I will move. So they had the hearing. The hearing was supposed to be yesterday, July 12th. Kevin had a trip planned with his two boys to go to British Columbia. He was not going to be in the country, and they knew that. But her attorneys set it for the 12th of July anyway, because I don't know, did they want him to disappoint his kids and make him look like a bad dad? And he told the court, I don't even know if I'm going to have ability to connect to Zoom to even get to this hearing. So he offered her $68,000 in child support a month. And he said, I will give you $38,000 plus $30,000 for a rental house. Plus I will pay 100% of the kids' tuition, all their extracurriculars, all of their unreimbursed medical, orthodontic, therapy, camp. And that other stuff could add up. She says, no, I want the $248,000 plus I want you to pay 100% of all of those other things too. So I put a comment on my last video when I commented to tell you guys what happened with her getting kicked out. And my comment was this. At today's hearing, Judge Thomas Anderley ruled that Christine must vacate the Carpinteria compound by July 31st. Kevin had requested a July 13 move-out date, and Christine asked for August 31st. Christine's attorneys have now asked for an extension until August 15th. As I opined in this video, the judge's ruling was based squarely upon what was in the four corners of the agreement. And his decision enforces the PMA thus far, which is a good sign for him, because if the judge enforces the PMA, that's going to affect a lot of other things with regard to how expensive this divorce is going to be for him. So a hearing was set for July 12th, which was yesterday. And it also needs to be pointed out, since she's contesting the validity of the PMA by saying I shouldn't have to move out, that clause shouldn't apply. Another term in the PMA says that if anyone contests this for its validity, they have to pay the attorney's fees for the other party. So if she loses on this issue, she's going to have to wind up paying his attorney's fees. I had also said I hope that it's my hope that the attorneys are furiously working on a settlement so that this does not drag out, not to mention it would be in the best interest of the children, because that is what the court always looks at. What is in the best interest of the children? Dragging this stuff out there in public view is not in the best interest of your children. And making it sound like your soon-to-be ex-husband and the father of your children is kicking your children out of their house, it's not a good look. So the hearing was actually held, and I don't know that it was a hearing. What I think actually happened, the news broke on Tuesday, the 11th, that he was going to have to pay a certain amount of money in child support. And I believe that the attorneys worked it out, and this was done by stipulation. I don't think there was a hearing. I don't think the court made a ruling. I could be wrong, but that was my feeling. And my feeling was that they furiously worked on this stipulation to make nobody happy, which is really what a good settlement is. When both parties walk away thinking they didn't win, that's usually a good settlement, sadly. And I hate the term split the baby, but that's what happened. They split the baby. Kevin's going to pay her $129,755 a month, but they're going to split the extras 50-50. So now she's on the hook for half the tuition, which could be very expensive. I don't know where they go to school, but I think they go to a pricey private school. And the unreimbursed medical and all of those other things. Still a great deal of money. So perhaps they did that on the 11th so that they could avoid the paparazzi being there because everyone knew this hearing was going to happen. And, he was on vacation. So hopefully it got resolved in a way that the judge didn't have to make the decision, because nobody should want a judge deciding their family's financial future. It's always in the best interest of everyone to work it out amongst yourselves, because trust me, judges do not make a lot of money. Like, if this judge is making 200 grand a year, that's a lot. And I think Santa Barbara is a small courthouse. I don't think they have a lot of judges there, but that's not the guy you want deciding your family's financial future. So it was probably in their best interest to do that. He also has to pay. She had asked for $350,000 more for her lawyers and another $150,000 for the forensic accountant. And it was either stipulated or agreed that, or ordered that, Kevin has to pay her $200,000 of her attorney's fees and $100,000 for the forensic accountant. Thanks, Allison. I know, I'm so invested in it too. It's like, I don't even understand why I care so much, but I care. And the reason that I care is because I just like this woman is so out of touch with what is going on in the real world, that for her to throw these numbers around is just it's so tone deaf. I mean, nobody in Hollywood is working right now. And then they had pictures of her coming out of the courthouse with, the Valentino belt and what looked like either a Chanel jacket or a St. John jacket. Like, she just was not coming out of there looking like the pauper that she's claiming that she is. It was really not a good look. So that is where we stand right now. It is a good thing that this is only a temporary agreement. Typically, courts don't deviate from this. And typically, if this is the amount that's agreed on now, in the interim, it's probably going to stay there. But who's to know what could happen with his income? If this SAG strike goes on for a long time, that's going to prevent him from working. And the writers, it could prevent him from doing anything. He did say that he was leaving Yellowstone. He's done with Yellowstone. And Christine said in her, because there was some chatter out there in the tabloids that she had asked him to stop doing Yellowstone because he wasn't home enough and he wasn't with the kids. And she said that that's not true, that she did not do that. She also, she says that she encouraged his dreams and he's also a musician. If you check out his Instagram, you can see that he plays in a band, and I guess he's kind of popular. I mean, I think he comes to the Paramount, like over here in Huntington every now and then. I'm not sure. So something else that Christine could have done during the course of this marriage, if she was going to come out and plead poverty, and they did wind up having 3 kids because they had broken up, I think, before they decided to get married because of that issue. And I guess she turned him around on the kid thing, but she could have asked for a postnup at any time during these 18 years, which is an agreement that you enter into after you're married when your circumstances have changed. So she could have done that at any time. She didn't. Duty Ron, really? You're going to talk about your underwear on my show? That's funny. His band has played a lot here. Where? Oh, wait, the wrong one. His band has played a lot here in Park City. Oh, Jamie, are you in Park City? I grew up skiing in Park City. My folks had a house there when I was in college, and we used to go to Park City all the time. It's a great town. I love it there. And Sundance is there. Yeah, I guess he spends a lot of time in Utah. He also has an amazing, amazing ranch in Aspen that rents for like $68,000 a night. Like, it's a crazy 160 acres. It's crazy. Crazy. So there were a lot of questions that I had from viewers during the video. And so if you guys have any questions, I haven't been watching the chat because it's just, you're making, look at Ron making the chat roll, getting the people in. Somebody's going to DoorDash you some new ones. That's great. Yeah, I'm sure the kids have Starbucks every day too. And they probably have their Starbucks delivered by Uber Eats. So it costs them like $30 for one coffee. Speaking of post-nups, Lisa Marie Presley, may she rest in peace. They just released her cause of death today, and it had nothing to do with drugs. They're saying that her cause of death was a bowel obstruction. And very, very, very sad. She was way too young. But in 2018, Lisa Marie Presley's ex went into court and asked for some crazy amount of spousal support, and they had signed a post-nup. And he went in and told the judge, "Oh, well, I didn't really read it." And the judge sent him back, and he was like, "Get out of here. You didn't read it. That's not an excuse. See you later." So isn't that what happened to Elvis? Oh, did he have a bowel obstruction? I don't know. Yeah, that is very sad. Very sad. So if anybody has any questions, I will happily take your questions. If you have any ideas for, other topics that you want covered. Eric Sherman, that's a good one. Oh, look, we have people in from the UK. Yeah, tell me where you're from. Modern West is the name of the band that Kevin is in. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody? What do you got? I'm going to say that $129,000 a month is still a lot of money. And I think she's still going to be able to live the lifestyle that she's accustomed to. Oh, thank you. I'm happy I started my own channel too. What do you mean, Leah? The 50% thing of what? The 50% custody of the kids, or the 50% sharing expenses 50-50? Yeah, I think she's going to live nearby. It seems like. All right, we have Canada in the chat, North Carolina in the chat. Yeah, I had a video on this, why file for divorce when she had it all. This is interesting too. There was a guy living in there where Kevin has his office, that house, and his name is Daniel Starr. And I'm not, this is rumor, speculation, whatever, but he was living in their guest house, and it's not really a guest house, because when the TMZ reporter caught up to him and said, "I hear you're living in their guest house," he's like, "It's not a guest house. It's a house next to their house." He was paying $65,000 a month in rent to live there. So pretty sweet place on the water. And he was a tech, I don't know if he's a billionaire, millionaire, very wealthy guy. And he was living there, and something happened, and he had a 1-year lease that went from, I think, July to June, or June to June. And in March, he was asked to leave. So, there's been some chatter about something happening there. Nobody really knows. But interestingly enough, this guy, Daniel Starr, is in the middle of a divorce with his soon-to-be ex-wife, and he's got the same lawyer as Kevin, Laura Wasser, who is a celebrity attorney who handles a lot of famous divorces. You've probably heard her name before. They call her the Disso Queen, like dissolution of marriage. It's kind of cool. But she handled, I think, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. I think she's Angelina's lawyer in that case, and she handled Britney Spears and Kevin Federline thing, and I think she was Johnny Depp's lawyer too. She like, everybody famous in Hollywood hires her. And that case is also being heard by the same judge, which is a little bit interesting, but a little bit small world. Yeah, they do wear similar hats. You ever notice a lot of couples start to look alike after they've been together for long enough, and they wear the same kind of outfits? And yeah, Kevin's digging in too. I know. And listen, if you're a guy like Kevin Costner and you're worth so much money and you're marrying somebody who's really worth nothing, I mean, you got to protect yourself. Everyone should protect themselves. That's the lesson here. That's the lesson here. Don't get married until you're at least 30, maybe 35, maybe, I don't know. You don't even probably know who you are yourself until you're that age. And protect yourself. Tom Cruise got taken to the cleaners too. Yeah, I don't remember how much Katie Holmes got in that divorce, but I think they had some kind of an agreement in place. I think they did. And Nicole Kidman, he was married to Nicole Kidman too. I forgot about that. Nicole Kidman actually has a prenup with her current husband, Keith Urban, and there's a sobriety clause in there that if he doesn't stay sober, he gets nothing. So that's interesting. A lot of people also put infidelity clauses in their prenup that if one of the spouses cheat, they get nothing. And if she was worried about that with Kevin, because, there had been some rumblings about what happened with his last marriage, that could have been a clause that she could have lived in there. Oh, Angela's going to move right in on July 31st. Yeah, I would do that too. So that's where we stand. Hi, Kimberly. Yeah. Yeah, Peggy, I think you're right about that. I mean, there was this talk about the one that we were just talking about before being a 7-year deal. And then on year 7, day 1, the divorce was filed. Well, Kevin Costner is going to be free, so you can get right in there. You can get right in there. I don't know. Ron, what else? We got anything here? Oh, thanks, Lou. Thanks for the super chat, Lou. You guys are awesome. Yeah, Maurice Gibb. It happened to him. Somebody mentioned that in one of the comments, and I didn't get a chance to dig into that. So I'm not sure what happened with Maurice Gibb, but it wasn't good. All right. Well, I don't know if Channel 5, does Channel 5 still exist? Yeah, it's Fox, right? Sure. I mean, look, there's a strike right now, so there's no work. Nobody's working. So I'm creating my own content. That's what they tell you to do. So that's what I'm doing. Elvis died of a heart attack. Yeah, I think you're right about that. I don't think there was a bowel obstruction involved there. Let me just see if there's anything here that I missed. All right. What did I do? Like 45 minutes? I think I did like 45 minutes. That's not bad for the first time, right? Considering I really didn't have a lot to talk about. I just wanted to come in and update you on what happened at that hearing. So I think if there's no more questions, and if I didn't miss anybody in the super chat, and I don't know if Ron is still moderating. Oh, thank you. Your wallet's empty now. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you so much. Dude, Ron is really the best. And you guys know that because you follow him and his channel. And he's so inspiring. And he's such an advocate for, crime victims and their families. And he makes such great relationships with people. And he's so compassionate. And I mean, you guys watch a lot of true crime stuff. So like how sensitive these cases are. And there's been some insensitivity lately in the YouTube community about certain things. And, when I'm on the show with him and when I'm on Police Off the Cuff, these guys are compassionate. They have compassion for the victims, and they look at real crime from a retired detective's perspectives, and they're doing it the right way. So who better to be a mentor or mentors to me than those guys? They're awesome. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the super sticker. I don't really know how this stuff works, but thank you so much for that. Angela, you're really getting in there. You might have a shot with that profile picture. I don't know. You look like you're exactly his type. So, we know where he lives. There's my mom. Thanks, Mom. she was texting me before because of the screw up in the chat in the I don't know. I'll figure out how to broadcast it the right way, but She didn't have the right link. So that, oh yeah, you notice on my thumbnail, I put a picture of me next to him. I thought that was kind of funny, but somebody said, yeah, that I was his type too. That's kind of hilarious. Well, if you build it, they will come. And thanks, Robbie. What time is it in Australia? It's got to be probably tomorrow already, right? Everybody's volunteering. Well, we know where Kevin lives now because I showed you a picture of his house. So I'm sure Carpinteria is not a very large place, and you probably have to go out on the water though to get to his house because it's a gated community. You're not getting in there. Forget it. I'm not doxing him. Taking that back. All right. Well, that is it for me tonight. Somebody had suggested to do something on some of these rock and roll bands that are feuding. I mean, that's a good it's actually a good topic. Somebody is in the chat that I know who knows a lot about that kind of stuff. Maybe he'll come on as a guest. Eric, you want to come on as a guest? Awesome. Yeah, Heidi cakes. Yep. Yeah, family law is rough. It's rough, but there's it's rough because most of us have been through it, right? So it's very emotional for a lot of people. Whether you've been divorced, you're in the middle of a divorce, you're a child of divorce, you're a parent whose childs have gotten divorced. It's rough. Yeah, The Bodyguard was good, but I liked Tin Cup. Tin Cup is my favorite. All right, you guys are cracking me up, but I think that's it for me tonight. So thank you so much for joining me on my first live stream. And I'm going to do it again because you know what? Making those pre-recorded videos is really a lot of work. Like it takes forever. And then you have to edit it and then you have to upload it. And then my computer ran out of storage. So I had to wait for Prime Day to buy an external hard drive. It was like a whole thing. But thank you all for your support. Feel free to share the video, push it out. I don't know. YouTube has some weird algorithms and stuff, but we'll see how it works. Thank you. Thank you to Ron for coming in and showing me how to do this. All right, everybody. Have a good night.